Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will
relevant.
bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on your care. Dati mihi Anglican for his service like you.
That's literally not true.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Is that correct?
Oh, for crumb's sake.
Good morning, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Happy Tuesday to you. We are excited to be back together and back to the au pair trial today, as this one's just wrapping up. After this wraps up, we will then jump back to the other trial that we're following, which shall not be mentioned. Just kidding, it's out of New Jersey. This one, we're staying in Virginia for now until this one wraps up, then we'll go back to New Jersey after that. So, it's exciting. Good morning. Hope everyone is doing great. Excited to see the state rest today in this case, and to see what the defense wants to throw out there. It's going to be interesting. It's the Mondayest of Tuesday we've ever had already, says Lynn Britton. It's the Mondayest Tuesday ever. And it's a freezing. My toes are cold. I don't know why my toes are cold in here. They shouldn't be cold. I'm indoors. We're all freezing. All right. Chat's not on screen yet. I will fix that. And with that, I will say, Greeners, congratulations, you were first in chat. You almost beat me into the live stream. I mean, I think you were here right as I was creating it. I don't know how you do it. It's got to be something to do with time travel, but you've done it again. Congratulations, you're first in chat. Because of that, we're going to send you to internet ownership. Everything IP related worldwide is your responsibility. My screen is black. Ooh. Mine is not. Does anyone else have a black screen? If you have a black screen, refresh, jump out, come back in. Might be a YouTube thing. What does it mean that chat's not on screen? Well, chat not being on screen looks like this. And I'm saying, hey, thanks Emily Jane for that. And everyone's like, Emily Jane, what did Emily Jane say? Well, if I put chat on screen, then everyone can see. So I forget sometimes to turn chat on screen. When I'm starting up the show, if I have chat on screen, I can't start that way. Otherwise, it looks like this, right? And that's just not a good look. It's not a good look. So I have to turn it on after we go live in full screen. All right. Good morning. You don't have a pre-stream checklist? All I know is not to cross the streams. That's all I have on my checklist. Everything else is just purely muscle memory. How's liquid glass? Don't talk to me about it. I want my Mac back is what I want. I don't want these little soft bubbles that make me think I'm floating in the sky. I don't like it. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it. I want to get rid of it. All right. Let's see. Anything else? Kind of fixed it on my phone. I know there's some settings you can go in and mitigate the damage. But basically, Apple controls. If you've bought into Apple's ecosystem, you've drunk the Kool-Aid. You know that you have very little say in the direction Apple goes. Apple will go where Apple wants to go, and they will take you with them, or they will say good riddance, and you can exit a very expensive ecosystem and enter another one. Apple will tell you what you want. That's it.
Happy birthday. You look
yes,
good.
I'm not a fan of the new UI. I'm not. I don't like the round. It's the rounded edges. I tell you, it's the rounded edges that do it. Look, can you guys see? No, you can't because I've got the counter up there. It's still the best. Yeah, I'm not changing. They've got a customer for life unless they do something really, really horrendous. But it's the rounded edges. I like squared off edges. I like a nice clean corner.
I'm not a cat.
That's what I want. Saw the Northern Lights yesterday, pics on Discord. Thank you. I got a couple pics on the burner phone as well. Looked fantastic. I did not go out and
I was kicked back, taking it easy.
I did not go out and brave the cold. I figured the weatherman is probably more important than the astronomer today or last night. So I obeyed the weatherman and said, stay warm. And I did. All right, a couple things before we get started in trial today, because we have a little bit. Just a couple minutes. First of all, we have to sing happy birthday. So everyone stand up, deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with a neighbor, and warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. What's the software you have displaying your sound levels on the screen? That is actually hardware. I'll talk to you a bit after to remind you. Hang on. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Kim, Lady Michi, her, Patches, Jeff, Stephanie, Wyatt, and Weatherwatch. Happy birthday to you. Weatherwatch, it's your birthday. How did I forget it's your birthday? How did I not remember until right now that it was your birthday? Did we add Wyatt to the list? We got Wyatt. Kim, Lady Michi, her, Patches, just Stephanie, Wyatt, and Weatherwatch. Happy birthday. I realize there are many wonderful days. Today is your special day. There are a million places you could be and a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, pleasure, the honor, the joy is ours. Hopefully we can turn that joy back to you, make your day just a little more special. Begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Delma's House, Andy's Grill, and Bob Evans. Did I say McDonald's twice? They only let you do it one time. It's my first singing happy birthday of the new year. Judy, welcome. Glad to have your voice ringing out with the rest of us. And by the rest of us, I mean all of us. Thank you, dancers and servers who are serving up the pancakes there. Miss McGuire, thank you. Happy to the bestest birthday girl, just Stephanie W. Happy birthday. It's a wonderful day for a birthday. It is. We're super excited to be able to be going back to court and all that. A pair needs arrested for... Oh, no. I can't say that. Can't say that. It's Broken Baker's birthday today. Happy birthday, Broken Baker. Across the pond. I need ice storm meals, y'all. Something warm. Anything warm, Josh, is what you do for an ice storm. I think. I've never actually been in one. My singing is so bad I whistle it. It counts. It counts. It's all good. All right. Let's drum solo. That's what we're going to do. Drum solo it.
Happy birthday. You look good.
Bum, 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 bum. 2, 1, 3. Beautiful. That was fantastic. You really did a great job there. All right. Sometimes voice to text just does not work. That time was one of the times. That is just funny. It would sooner think I was swearing at it than what I actually said, and I said it very clearly, but it's all right. I can type it out. All right, we're going to be going to court here in just 1 minute. Returning to the great state of Virginia. It's a commonwealth, isn't it? Is Virginia a commonwealth too? I think they are. Do we have good sound here? Please tell me we have good sound. It would be better if we did. We have no sound. No sound. Is no sound better than good sound? I don't know. We'll get it fixed here in just 1 second. Let's hit that button there. All right. Commonwealth states are Greeners. Greenland, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Greeners. All right. I'm not allowed to play the fire, so I can't light the fireworks. That never stopped me. Fireworks was like the exception.
I'm not going to argue about semantics here. All
right. You guys are on a roll this morning. I don't know. I just have to carefully pre-read all the messages before I read what's on the screen. It's just Stephanie W. gifted 5 memberships this morning, kicking off the gifting this morning. Congratulations to the lucky recipients. Congratulations. And thank you, just Stephanie, for your generosity. All right. Still no audio. Let's see if we can get everything synced up. Let's turn that one off.
I object.
That one understood me. Maybe it's just the remote that's not working right. Okay, let's go to 2 instead, shall we? 2 is better. 2 is better. All right. Let's see. Murder True Crime Show. You were asking about what my screen is that shows the monitoring levels. That is actually a hardware HDMI output from a 8-port ATEM switcher. So it's a standalone device. You plug it into power. You plug in all your, well, it's actually SDI, not HDMI. But you plug in all your sources, and then it has one screen that monitors the levels and everything.
Don't raise your voice again.
You may know, those of you who've been here a long time, I am a huge fan of using hardware instead of software to live stream. That way, every function is performed by a machine. And instead of using a computer to do all the functions, like using OBS or StreamYard or something like that, I have individual machines that if there's a problem, I know exactly what the problem is immediately, because, well, I'd like to think I know exactly the problem.
I think I'm about to catch a whooping.
So we have HyperDeck recorders to record instead of recording on a hard drive on a computer. We have hardware switchers to switch between sources and make fancy overlays and everything that way, and all that. Still waiting on my overtime check from RA, says Regina Adams. We did do overtime, and if you guys took Friday and Saturday,
people do not get to have it their way.
If you took Saturday and Monday off, you missed out, because we worked both days, and it was a lot of work. Thank you all who were here. It was great. I think we're starting now.
Video of roaches fighting.
Let's see if we can. There we go. It's good to be back with you, ma'am. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's put that one there. No audio yet. Hold tight.
All rise. Court is now in session.
Little pre-trial work going on here. That's the wrong button. We're not hearing anything yet.
Bring the jury.
See if we can get some audio from courtroom. That would be really cool.
Alex stole it as well.
If you could turn on the live stream, we would, the audio, I'd be like fan of the day. Be your biggest fan, Mr. Cameraman.
Because he's the guy.
Have them send someone with more experience.
I'm going to sustain my own objection.
Well,
I think I'm about to catch a whooping.
Hold, please.
What more do you need to see?
Let's see if we can get any other source that may have better audio.
There's nothing in the order that restrains you from talking.
Please be seated.
That's terrible. So we're going to switch to that.
Hush! Now I'm trying to have court. Don't raise your voice again.
All right, we'll get this. We'll get this sorted out here. Sorry about that. Okay, and we want which Which view? I want this one over here. Let's get some audio. We'll get the audio first, and then we'll get the video. Just wait for it. Good morning, Judge.
All right, good morning.
Good
Please
morning.
be seated.
We're seated already. We were actually just waiting for you.
All right, good morning. All right, I think we are at where you're going to have the voir dire of your expert, correct?
Judge, we would
There's a
call
lawsuit.
Iris
Before you,
Graf.
all right, right, before you do that, I just want to make sure, are you just moving her in as a expert in blood spatter?
Okay, we're going to show you in 1 second.
The response to your motion seemed to be that way. I just want to make sure.
It's blood spatter and forensic analysis.
What do you mean by forensic analysis? I think that's where Mr. Carroll and I are a little confused.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize the court had any confusion after our last motion. I thought we were clear that she's going to testify to the matter that was produced in her report. Mr. Carroll has had a copy of that. It is blood spatter analysis. Right, and how
spatter, yes.
that appears on the crime scene.
Okay, so that's all.
Yes.
I mean, there was a part of her report that talked about firearm reconstruction.
We are not
shooting.
going into that at all.
I think that was the main concern of Mr. Carroll.
That was part of the concerns, Judge, and when they basically...
Thank you.
Sorry, the wanderer.
That's okay.
That was part of the concerns, Judge, but when they withdrew their report or they committed to not presenting the report, then we didn't really enter into some of the other aspects. Some of the other aspects that I would want to address are there are some leaps made in that report regarding the bloodstain pattern analysis, and there's some areas where evidence is linked. But
I understand, but is that just a cross-examination thing, or is that qualifying her as an expert?
If I will say this. If it's just blood spatter analysis, then I've looked over her credentials, and I think that aside from a couple of questions, I'm not going to have any objection to it, but I do need to ask a few questions.
Okay, yeah, I understand you have to
still
ask
do
a
a
few
voir dire.
questions, but it doesn't seem like that's something we have to do outside the presence of the jury if they're not going into shooting reconstruction. I don't know, I'm asking you, because it just seems like it's more of you're going to object to some of the questions she might be asked or something along the lines, but not to her expertise in blood spatter.
Blood spatter, I don't have an objection to her expertise.
All right.
And just to clarify, so we're using the correct language, it is bloodstain pattern analysis.
That's fine, blood stain pattern analysis. You don't have objection to that,
No
correct?
objection, no. I believe that's...
All right, I think we can do that in front of the jury then, just to save a little time. After I read your response to the motion, I just want to make sure we were on the same page because it seemed like we were not on the same page.
Understood.
Now we're on the same page. Okay, excellent. So any other preliminary matters before the jury comes out?
No, Your Honor.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's get the jury.
All right, let's get that jury. Let's bring him in here. Kick off the morning.
Did I do something wrong?
Did I do something wrong? Did I screw up? Did I already mess up today? All right.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the Commonwealth's next witness.
Judge, we would call Iris Graf.
Is someone getting her? Is somebody going to get Ms. Griff?
I lost my witness wrangler.
You don't have your runner. I don't.
Ouch.
All right.
Bless you. Ah, jinx, Judge. Everyone be quiet. I won't talk over her name. think it's common spelling. Iris, I-R-I-S, Dally, D-A-L-Y, Graph, G-R-A-P-H. No, G-R-A-F-F. Sorry, let's do that one. That's my guess. Put your guesses in chat. I guess Dally Graph. I'm going to go with the FF, but a single, well, 2 L's does sound right. Single L, 2 F's. Hyphenated. Oh. What state are you getting the witness from? She should be just like right outside the courtroom, right? She is, after all, the first witness of the day, the one you're prepared to start with. Jan says it's going to be hyphenated. Baby Shark gives it the silent E on the end. One of you is probably right. Here she comes. Here she comes. She's just taking her sweet time because, after all, she is paid by the hour as an expert witness. That's important to... maybe she's waiting for her entrance music. You know, she's standing outside the door like, where's my song? Where's my song?
No.
Up the front, ma'am. Right up here. Right this way, please. Step right up.
Stay right here. Face down quick. Raise your right hand.
You swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
I do.
Every state and sometimes every courtroom has a little bit different oath. As we've seen, New Jersey was using the Bible religiously almost, and Virginia just says under penalty of law.
All right, good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm well. Could you please state and spell your full name for the court record?
Okay. Iris Dally Graph. Iris, I-R-I-S. Dally, D-A-L-L-E-Y. Graph, G-R-A-F-F.
That was all right, I got 2 out of 3.
Can you tell us about your current occupation and where you're currently employed?
I'm self-employed. My husband, I have a forensic training and consulting business.
What is the name of that business?
Graph Investigative and Forensic Training.
Thank you. How long have you been employed as a forensic analyst?
Basically going back to 1989, not all of it with the same employee.
Can you tell us a little bit about your employment history? Where else have you worked?
Well, in law enforcement, I began in 1989 with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, where I was a sworn agent for the state. Began in the criminalistics division, people commonly refer to as the crime lab. I did crime scene investigation and forensic serology and microscopy. Trying to think what else. Eventually added to that bloodstain pattern analysis, trajectory and shooting analysis, forensic animation, graphics in analysis.
And web design? Wow, she does everything.
A lot of things. Eventually focusing just as a crime scene agent, where I did just the crime scene investigation, everything associated with that, and without the additional bench work in the laboratory. Left that to be, when I retired from the Bureau after 20 years, then I was a member of another company that's a forensic consulting company until, I believe it was 2016 that we separated, and my husband and I have our own company.
All right. And that company that you worked for after the Bureau, what were your responsibilities there?
Well, in that company, I was one of the founding members of that company, and we did primarily analysis of crime scene information, especially bloodstain pattern analysis and shooting analysis. those kinds of things.
All right. Who were your clients in working for that company?
It was open. It was law enforcement or anyone who was interested, anyone who wanted assistance. So some of the clients were prosecutors, some were defense attorneys, some were individuals who something happened to someone and they wanted an expert opinion. So sometimes it was private individuals. We also did a lot of training, which I still do, and we have open enrollment, so anybody who wants to sign up for a class can. Most of our clientele there are law enforcement, however, have had attorneys, prosecutors, defense attorneys, defense investigators. We had a medical doctor in one, a coroner. So it's open to whoever wants to put forth the effort to be in the course and do the things we require.
Is that the same type of training you provide now through graph investigation and training?
Yes.
All right. Do you teach anywhere else outside of the classes that you teach for your company?
Haven't been in recent years. Haven't been employed, like if you mean like a university or something like that. No.
Okay. But you had in the past. Is that correct?
In the past, I was an adjunct professor at a university while I was also a public school teacher.
All right. Do you belong to any professional organizations?
Yes.
Which organizations do you belong to?
The International Association of Identification, which is the largest and oldest of the forensic professional organization. The International Association of Bloodstain Pattern Analysts. The Association for Crime Scene Reconstruction. The Rocky Mountain Division of the Bloodstain Pattern Analysis.
And let me ask you, have you held a board position with any of these organizations?
Yes.
And what was that position?
Well, with the International Association of Identification, I was on the Crime Scene Certification Board for a year. With the International Association of Bloodstain Pattern Analysis, I was president for 2 terms. With the Association of Crime Scene Reconstruction, I was the secretary for about a dozen years. I didn't keep track.
She was the secretary?
Okay, thank you. Have you ever testified as an expert before?
Yes.
All right, and have you testified in Fairfax County as an expert?
Yes, I have.
All right. Can you tell me a little bit about bloodstain pattern analysis and how it fits within what you've described to us as your experience as a forensic analyst?
Well, bloodstains are common in any violent scene. So we look at blood and what blood does. Blood is a fluid, as it is in its natural environment in your body. And as a fluid, we can look at it in terms of the science of fluid dynamics. What do fluids do? That's what blood does. So based on that, we do a lot of experimentation and things to see what blood does on specific surfaces with under specific types of forces applied to the blood. We look at all the characteristics of blood to include how blood moves, how it forms margins along the surface of a pattern, why that margin is formed that way, the consistency of blood and how that changes over time, what happens to blood, especially when it's airborne, and what shape it is in the air, and that because that determines what shape it will be on the target surface, so that when we see a blood stain on a target surface, we can determine, one, whether or not it was airborne, and if it was airborne, then we can determine something about how it formed this pattern and sometimes where it came from. So to identify the general trajectory of the blood from the source. And then, of course, combine that with things like the DNA analysis that tell us something about who the blood could or could not have come from.
So let me stop you there. With an understanding of how bloodstain pattern analysis fits into forensics, the education and work experience you've described for us, does that give you the ability to be an expert in bloodstain pattern analysis?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I would offer Ms. Daly-Graff as an expert in bloodstain pattern analysis.
All right, Mr. Carroll, you wish to voir dire?
Your Honor, actually, I don't have any objection to her qualification as an expert in bloodstain pattern.
I'm sorry. It's just the jury has trouble hearing
I
you.
apologize, Judge. Judge, I don't have an objection to her qualifications as an expert in bloodstain pattern analysis.
All right, then so moved as an expert in that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so back to a little bit more about blood stains. Can you explain to us the different types of blood staining that we might see present at a crime scene? Flow, spatter, transfer. Can you tell us what those are?
Well, there are a lot of different end results of bloodshed, and they can sort of be categorized according to what the final blood stain looks like.
Bloodshed?
But in
thought death
doing the
was like-
analysis, I look at all the characteristics of the stain and then see which mechanisms can be excluded. So, for example, as I've already referred to, if blood is airborne, the stains that will be created from that are going to be circular or elliptical. That's because blood in flight actually breaks into spheres as it leaves the source. Well, a sphere is circular, so if it hits a surface, that stain will be either circular or elliptical, depending on the angle. Then we look at a lot of others. By the way, that is called spatter, if it's circular and elliptical, and there are various things that will cause that. Another type is contact stains. That is, blood on one surface comes in contact with another surface. We call that a transfer because blood is transferred from one object to the other. And then depending on things like the volume of blood and the texture of the surfaces that come in contact with each other, the shape of the object, then the transfer may be actually a pattern that reflects the original surface. That will be, by the way, will be a surface stain. We also have to look at the surface itself. Is it absorbent? If it's absorbent, then blood as a fluid will diffuse along the fibers. It's called capillary action. So it may be somewhat distorted if it's an absorbent surface. If it's not an absorbent surface, well, then we look at those issues because now you're going to have a different look at the margins. In particular, we look at contact stains that happen with motion, because if there's motion that pushes blood across the surface, one of the things that does is there's a displaced volume of blood, and you end up seeing what looks like lines through the pattern. We call those striations. That's an indication of movement. We can look at the overall pattern and see whether or not blood was on the surface and then that blood got moved, that something pushed the blood, or that blood is on some other surface that comes in contact with motion, in which case we call that a swipe. That is that some of the blood then will be transferred as it's in motion. Again, there will be striations because that's what shows us motion. And then that will have a displacement of volume, so the volume is not consistent all the way across. There, depending on the surface, there may be a really feathering at one end or the other, but you'll also have some places where the liquid blood forms a margin, and so you can see those are a little bit smoother edges, but across the pattern. Sometimes you can tell generally the surface, what the surface was that pushed it onto the transferred surface. Flow is simply blood that's on a surface and it's under gravity. So if a blood drop or a volume of blood is on a non-absorbent surface, then gravity will cause that blood to go downward, whichever way down is. So that if it's on contours, it'll follow the contours, but always going down if it's flow. It will have generally parallel margins, generally a consistent volume of blood across from margin to margin until it gets to a stopping place, basically. That can be because it went down, say, going down a wall and hits the floor. And then you have a little pooling, depending on the volume. You may or may not have pooling, but you can see that it's associated with the flow. There are several types of contact patterns that can happen. So we look at it in the context of the scene what do we know about the blood that's here, and we look at like the condition of the blood. If sometimes we look at drying times and how, if we know approximately when the blood shed, what does it look like now, which means you also look at the metadata of the images to determine when was the image created. Is this an aberration of the delayed time in recording the image, or is it something that's actually part of what was originally there, and so forth. So it has to be taken in context of the scene.
Okay. Let's, for a moment, talk about cast-off as it pertains to spatter. What does that mean to you?
Well, cast-off is another form of actually spatter. It's circular and elliptical stains. Again, blood in flight will break up into spheres as it travels through the air. And if it comes off of a surface of some moving object, which is where the term cast off comes from, that some object with blood on it moves, blood comes off in a column, and because of the motion, you see it landing on the surface as a linear distribution. Characteristics you look at in the possibility of cast off is you're looking for circular elliptical stains with a progressive change in shape, so that if it hits at the surface at 90 degrees, it's going to be circular. If it hits at an angle, then it's going to be more elliptical. So if blood comes off of something that's moving, then you'll see this progressive change from circular to elliptical in some type of a linear distribution. So it can be a straight line or it can be a curved line, but clearly a line. So that would be a way that you look at to identify cast off.
Okay. Did you have the opportunity to review photographs, video, and objects from the scene of the crime that was created when Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan were killed?
I did look at documentation specifically in the bedroom and items collected from that bedroom.
Okay. In your analysis, did you have the opportunity to look at the autopsy of Christine Banfield?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you make any observations of the 8 knife wounds that she sustained, the 2 cutting wounds, and the 6 stab wounds?
Your Honor, I'd object to the observations from the ME's report.
All right, if you want to approach, let's sure.
Is he objecting to the characterization of the wounds? Because, I mean, we've got the pictures, right? Is he saying they're cutting, stab? We've got the pictures. We did have the ME already. Drama Mama, we are expecting that this witness and one other will be presented by the state, and then the state's going to rest today. Possibly even before lunch. Depends how things go here with cross-examination. But let's see. We've got... give me a second. I'm trying to fix everything at the same time. I would not be a good juror on this case. I look at the defendant and think guilty. That's Judy. Yeah, we'd have to dismiss you, unfortunately, Judy. But at least acknowledging that that's where you're at, that's an important step. I saw somewhere where old boy didn't like the knife the victim brought because it wasn't ideal for stabbing. Yes, the tip was curved like a kitchen knife meant to slice or cut vegetables, right? Where it's not really, it has a point, but it comes to a point where the back side of the knife curving down and almost being completely vertical at the end. So it's like a dulled front, but it has just a tiny point. I mean, stabbing had to be used like at a weird angle. Well, stabbing is all weird, but yeah, the defendant was not really happy. He wanted the more pointier knife instead of the kitchen knife. But the dude who brought the knife brought what he brought, a chef's knife. Because he wasn't planning on doing any stabbing. Right.
And Judge, I am going to ask the question a different way if it has the same objection. Ms. Telegraph, when you looked at the autopsy for Christine Banfield, did you have the opportunity to observe the injuries that were documented? in the
Yes.
report? Okay. And did that information help to inform your opinion about the blood evidence that you observed in the bedroom through the photographs and documents you were provided?
Well, the autopsy report itself doesn't inform me as far as looking at the blood stains, the characteristics of the blood stains, and evaluating possible mechanisms for the blood stains. Another.
So then we'll move on from that. Talking about Joseph Ryan, in review of the autopsy of Joseph Ryan, as well as the photographs from the scene and the officer's body-worn camera videos, did you make any observations of the location of the blood on Joseph Ryan's face?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I would like to display Commonwealth's Exhibit. Sarah, give me just a moment.
By a moment, do you mean a minute or maybe more?
Your Honor, if I can have a moment,
You already got them.
all of this was ready this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
We're just going to chill here. Netflix and chill while we wait.
Do you have the connection for the HDMI to my computer?
Are we missing a dongle? Somebody needs to get the dongle.
All right, Judge, I'd like to display Commonwealth's 238 to the witness and to counsel. And this would be admitted, this would be offered under seal.
All right, any objection to 230? It disappeared.
I know it disappeared because I have to,
All right.
I have to be creative here for just a moment.
Any objection to 238? Under seal?
Under seal means we're not going to be able to see it.
Yes, that's fine.
And defense now, after that long pause, wants to go up and have some words with the judge about this. It's a slow start to the trial this morning, but we're expecting it to be done here pretty quickly. I'm sort of curious who they're going to bring in as their final witness. What their big finish will be. So, give them just a minute to figure this out. Is anyone else having trouble shifting between two trials that are actively going on? My brain is like, it's got Banfield in one on one side and New Jersey on the other, and it's like double murder au pair. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, let's see. I'm relieved. Let's see. We're not in the New Jersey case at the moment. The noise, the incessant questions. It's a good break. It's a good break. Gets under my skin bigly. Yep. Rude making the witness wait. It's her money. This witness actually doesn't care because she is getting paid by the hour to testify. So take all the time in the world on the stand. The stopwatch is running, and so is the clock on the paycheck. Tally on the paycheck.
Ms. Tallygraph, can you see the photograph that we're identifying as Commonwealth's 238 on your screen?
I do see a picture on the screen.
Okay, is that a still that you pulled from the officer's body-worn camera?
Yes, it is.
Okay, did you enhance the color in this photo?
What? She's a blood spatter expert.
I may have shifted the histogram to make things more visible. I don't recall specifically, but one of the things because part of what I do is analyze from video as well as from still images, and if things are in shadow, then you can simply shift the histogram to make them a little more visible, which also sometimes increases the contrast. Okay. But I didn't add to the color or detract from the color. I simply shifted to make more or less visible, and without seeing the video in its raw format, I couldn't tell you exactly whether any of that is in this particular image.
Okay.
Okay, if you do that, you need to track what
I
you
see
did.
that there is a shadow on the right-hand side of the photo. If you had adjusted the histograph, would you still see that shadow, or would that have been removed?
Excuse me?
Object to leading.
I'm sorry. All of us have trouble hearing you when you did.
I would object to leading.
All right, leading.
Judge, I asked if she had adjusted, would the shadow be removed? It's a yes or no question. It doesn't suggest its answer.
A yes or no question would be leading, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Not if it doesn't suggest the answer.
All right, I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
I don't know. I think it suggests the.
You can answer it, ma'am.
Okay.
What was the question?
Do you want me to ask again?
Yeah, because I'm not sure what I've heard was a yes or a no.
Sure. The shadow that we see to the right in this photograph, if you had adjusted the histograph, if I'm saying that correctly, would you still see the shadow?
In adjusting the histogram, some of the shadow, not necessarily all of it, is removed, so that if there was a shadow, say, across the face, then it may be shifted just enough to reveal that without actually taking out all of the shadow.
Okay, but you did not change the color. Did you change the color of the blood in this photo?
I didn't.
Okay. Did you change the color of Mr. Ryan's skin in this photo?
No.
Did you change the positioning of his body in this photo?
No.
Or any of the objects around his body?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I'd offer the photo into evidence.
Any objection? If you want to approach again, I need you to use.
I need you to use the microphone, says the judge. I have to be able to hear what you say. The defense still has an objection. They object because apparently she may or may not have modified the picture in some way. She says it would just be adjusting the histogram, which is basically changing what the camera thinks is light and dark. So it adjusts to turn all the brightness, all the dark things brighter. Eventually, if you adjust it all the way, everything just becomes white. But she didn't keep track of what she did, which is very important if you're editing or manipulating a photo, to track and know what you did. She's not even sure if she did on this one. So I think defense has a good argument here, but judge might let it in anyway.
Judge, if we can terminate the display.
It didn't come in. least yet. Terminate's a keyword. Means the public can't see. Trying to get the attention of my middle son to see if I can print something on my 3D printer, or if he's using it as he normally is. I have to make a new threaded screw like that.
If you have it. I'm just going to move on, but I need to use it later. Yeah, he's got the 6 back there. No, I need, like, can you get the actual frame? Thank you.
She's moving on, which means it was probably sustained.
Judge, if I can have what I'd like to have identified as Commonwealth's 170 displayed to counsel and the witness.
She's frustrated because she doesn't get to use what she wanted to use there. That picture that the expert had fixed to make it easier to see what she was talking about is not coming in, at least at this point.
All right, so let's look at your figure 16. Embedded is the original photograph and then a photograph that you have made markings on. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I would offer into evidence as Commonwealth's 170 under seal this item.
Any objection to this?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm happy to
if you want to approach. That's fine.
It's interesting. The defense initially looked like they weren't going to have a problem with this witness. They said, we don't have a problem with her credentials. We don't have a problem with her being certified as an expert. It appears they just have a problem with everything she's going to talk about, meaning the actual pictures. And so lots of approaches, lots of sidebars here. She should have realized it would be objected to. I agree. And what we didn't hear was how many times she had testified. Do you guys? I didn't catch that question in the voir dire. As she was being presented as an expert, we heard some things. I didn't hear about writing papers that were peer-reviewed or publishing. I didn't hear much of that. I didn't hear a lot about how many times she's testified, just that she has testified before in this county. Might be a lot. She might have tons of experience. I just don't know.
All right, Judge, I'd like to cast to the witness and counsel what I would have identified as Commonwealth's 171.
These are being struck down? This is her third picture she's tried to get presented.
Ms. Dallygraph, do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the photo that you received from crime scene, specifically Fairfax County detectives, to perform your analysis?
This is one of the photographs that was included.
Okay. And I'm going to zoom in and take you over to the lower right-hand corner of the photograph. Are you able to see Mr. Ryan's face in the corner of the photograph?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time, Commonwealth would offer as Commonwealth 171 the original crime scene photograph, and we would offer that under seal.
Any objection to 171?
You can't object.
All right, 171 under seal.
Okay.
We're going to finish that after this trial. We'll go back to New Jersey, catch up, and finish that trial.
Can you tell when this picture was taken relative to other pictures that you looked at?
Yes.
In terms of the progression of events?
Yes.
Okay, and when was this picture taken?
What's your legal objection?
Foundation.
All right.
Judge, I asked if she could tell when, relative to the other pictures she has received, this photo was taken. I'd like to, I believe her answer is not going to be a time and date. It's going to be, again, relative to what else was occurring at the crime scene to explain the location that we see here.
I'm going to sustain the objection. Next question.
That's fine.
She's lost.
What do
She's
you
lost
see on
3
Mr.
in a row
Ryan's
now.
hand?
I'm sorry, on Mr. Ryan's.
In this photograph, what do you see on Mr. Ryan's hand?
Yes, the right hand is bagged.
Okay, and if I zoom back out, what is he laying on, as best you can tell?
I believe it's
I'm sorry, Judge. I object. I don't think you can walk it through.
Your legal objection.
My objection is foundational. It's also leading.
All right. I'll sustain as to leading. Your next question.
Sure. All right, let's just talk about his face. What did you observe about Mr. Ryan's face and the blood on it?
that his blood, his face is basically covered in blood. In this particular image, I'm looking especially at under the chin because the overall solid, if you will, blood pattern ends at the chin.
Objection, Your Honor. She's going beyond the scope of the question. She's asked, what did you notice about the...
I'll overrule that objection. Okay, that's good.
Please continue.
So I see, in addition to the solid covering of blood over the face, that on the chin and down towards the neck, there are flows, multiple flows, and they are not all in the same direction. In particular, I see a flow coming from the heavier stained up on the face, going under the chin and toward the, from the left side towards the right side, and down kind of towards the right shoulder. And that would indicate a direction or an orientation at the time the flow occurred, because flows always go downward. I see some that are coming from the right side. If we go over to kind of in front of...
Non-responsive to the question.
Judge, she's describing her observations of the blood flows. There are several. She's working her way through those observations.
Overruled, go ahead.
Please continue.
So I see a flow that's coming down from the face that appears relative to the body, pretty much vertical, that is going from just in front of the right ear, basically, and then coming down towards the neck, more to the center of the neck, so that would have been upright at one point. So those are two different directions, but there are multiple flows. And just as a point that only liquid blood flows, dry blood doesn't move. So at the time the blood was wet, that indicates that that portion of the head was in different positions. But each of those separately has to have occurred when that surface was more upright, that is, so that the blood flows down. So the direction of the flow was downward at the time the flow occurred.
Did you make any markings on your figure 16 that highlighted your observations?
I'm sorry, I don't know which is my figure 16.
Sorry.
But
let me do this, Judge, at this time, if we can remove the photograph from the display. And if I can cast to the witness and to counsel. Just one moment. Commonwealth's 170. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
Is this your figure 16?
Yes.
And are the green markings those that you made to reference the things that you've just spoken about?
Yes, I added the green arrows showing directionality of some of the flows.
All right, Judge, at this time, the Commonwealth would offer into evidence as Commonwealth's 170 under seal, figure 16.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
All right. Judge, is the court's software working to be able to have Ms. Graff draw on the picture in front of
Yes.
her and then have it printed out?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Graff, turning back to what was admitted as Commonwealth's 171. If I can have that published to the jury. Sorry, just 1 second. It skipped ahead. Can you mark with your finger on the screen in front of you the location of the blood flow and the directionality that you just discussed?
Okay, there are multiple flows. So just to demonstrate, if this works. Ooh, sorry, it's very wide mark and the flow is very narrow. But for one, and then there's that's going from the chin, from the left side of the chin down towards the right. There's a second one that's somewhat parallel to the previous. Then there's from the, what I discussed before, from in front of the right ear going down. There's a couple of them there. There's a couple that are coming from the right cheek that are going a little bit to the left.
Okay, thank you. Judge, I would like to offer the marked photo into evidence as Commonwealth's 170.
What, I already have a 170. You want to make it 172?
Got to tell you about this
Because
phone
you
call.
showed a different picture for 170 with the marks already there.
Correct. So can we do that as 170A?
178? Okay.
Thank you.
You have to hit the print there. It's printing.
Remind me to tell you about the
Sorry,
e-bike
Judge, there is not
phone
a
call.
print button.
It's printing.
I'm sorry?
It's printing.
Okay.
Should be below you.
Yep. But I would let you know nothing is happening.
Okay. It takes a couple minutes, so you can go on to your next question.
Okay. All right, so if I can drop the display, please. Kelly, were you able to isolate?
Yep. And there's no objection to 170A, is that correct?
Just email it to me.
All right, 170A.
No objection.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's still not. It's blinking, but nothing's. Kelly, is it in the shared drive?
This is quickly becoming into a little fiasco this morning as we struggle with admissible evidence and technology. Remember, this is the state ramping up to a big finish where they put a button on this and a big bow for the jury. And this is how it's ending up. The judge, I imagine, will be frustrated. Speaking of frustrated, I bought an e-bike, and the company I bought it from just listed me as a dealer on their website, and I'm getting phone calls from people who want to buy. I'm a customer, and they listed me as a dealer. It's now the fourth person who has called me asking to buy a bike and details on it. What the heck? Why would you put me down as a dealer? So if you want an e-bike, apparently I'm your guy.
Which folder? Just in the folder.
Can you buy one? I don't even know how to sell one, but I'm a dealer.
It's not there.
I'd originally signed up to let people ride my bike as a test ride, and they would give me $100. The company would give me $100 for each person that tried it. People just call and ask a billion questions. Nobody has signed up to ride. They're calling from Florida. They're calling from California. I'm not a bike dealer. Take the commission. No, I don't get commission. I can spend half an hour on the phone. That guy's going hunting with his bike. He wants to know how it works and my experience and everything. And I'm happy to tell him, look, it's from one guy to another. It's hard to get this information from a good person, from like a legit person. Got another call coming. Probably another bike. But I don't get paid a penny for just helping them and talking them through them and telling my experience and what works and what doesn't. Now the bailiff steps up saying, oh, you're doing it wrong. We need printer paper in. That's what the secret is. I do actually want an e-bike. Can I come try it? Oh, man. Maybe I'll bring it to you. Why would a company put a customer down as a dealer? I've ridden one e-bike in my life, and it's the one I own. I was the worst shopper ever. I just saw something I liked and I bought it. It happens to be nice. I happen to like it. I happen to be a big fan. It's a battery powered bicycle, so it assists. It has a motor that assists pedaling. So for me, I was taking a bunch of camera gear up, filming something up in the wilds, out in the camping and everything else. I needed to be able to maneuver quickly with that. And
Judge,
oh yeah.
Between the printer and the issue with this additional photo, I might request for 5 minutes to.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and take our morning recess early. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes,
okay.
please.
Another
Let's go ahead
5
and take
minutes?
a 15-minute recess so she can get the pictures taken care of. Just don't talk to anybody about the case and don't do any outside research, okay? Thank you.
I can summarize what's happened so far today. We've got a new witness on the stand. Her name is Iris Daly Graff. And we've heard almost nothing other than that she's qualified and she knows a little bit about blood and how it reacts when it's thrown or splashed or cast off. That's it. As far as the evidence goes, there's not a ton that's come in today. Most of the pictures that
We'll come back at 11:10 then. Yes, ma'am, since you are under, you're testifying now, please don't discuss your testimony with anybody to include the prosecutors at this point, okay?
Okay,
Do you understand?
We're actually.
You said to include prosecutors?
Right, you can't talk to anybody about your testimony now because you're in the middle of your testimony.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right.
All rise, please.
Most of the pictures that the prosecutors wanted to admit in this, we're going to actually fast forward because we're a tiny bit behind, so we're going to get caught up during this break. Let's see. Let's turn.
Thank you, sir. You're my new best friend.
I'm gonna call this company. Be like, hey, about this bike deal, which I'm not a fan. All right, we are catching up quickly. And it's down here. We're going to catch up here as well. All right, there we go. Dealers should receive better pricing. You already own a fleet. I'm flabbergasted because here's what, when I say I signed up to be like a test ride person, I clicked on the email. It said, hey, we're looking for people to do this. And I went through and it said, what's your name? What bike do you have? And I put that in. And then it came to the terms and conditions. And I looked at all of it and it's like, this is just like, there's like 3 miles of paperwork for terms and conditions for how we get paid. And I'm like, there is something in here that's going to say I don't get paid, period. I'm going to go to all this work and I won't get paid. And I canceled. I never signed the agreement. Wonderful Bike Company goes out there and says, it's okay. We'll just assume you did and publish all your details, private phone number, address, everything else, the bike you have, and list you as one of our dealers. The 2 victims were manipulated to make it look like Ryan had stabbed Christine, but that wasn't how the DA sees it. We need to get this. I was excited for this. I wanted to hear about the blood spatter and blood splatter because it will, I'm sorry for the terminology, it will paint a picture of what happened because it's literally the ink of the murder is the blood and where it flew and how it struck and how it landed. That's how it tells the story. You can't just figure everything out from the position of the bodies after it's over. But I'm still so stinking frustrated. It's been weeks. I don't know. Over the past 6 weeks, I've probably helped 7 people with e-bike questions who called and they started calling just saying, hey, I've got some questions. I didn't realize I was listed as a dealer. I thought this was part of the program. Like, I didn't sign up, but they've got me down. It's a nice guy on the phone. He's called. I'm a nice person. I'll help when I can. I wanted to hear this evidence, and it's not developing the way I wanted it to, or I was hopeful that it would. Is I guess a better way to say this. How did you figure out they listed you? This last call was the first one I knew that they had listed me. I mean, I knew that they had referred people, but I thought it was more like a one-on-one. A customer might reach out and say, hey, Mr. Bike Company, I'd love to buy a bike. Can I talk to anyone about about my questions and talk to a customer and see if they're happy with it? I thought it was like a one-on-one. Yeah, here's somebody who's said that they'd do that, which I wouldn't have a problem with. But they presented that as every person that calls, I get, a commission because it's for my time, right? Nope. Would you buy an e-bike from this man? We have a 15-minute recess. This is a tech recess. It's an early lunch break. Normally we take it probably half an hour from now. Imagine those being customers as well. Worst salesman ever. Don't mention price. Doesn't tell me what the features are. Yeah, I told him everything. And honestly, because I'm not getting paid a penny to do that, I say, you know what? Here's what I hate about it. Here's what I hate about this bike and wish that was different. And I don't like. And here's where the customer service really sucks. I tell that part as well. Because if they're going to put me down for, hey, share your experience, I'm giving them my full experience. Make sure I underline the negatives. Since you're a dealer now, I think all streams have to be marked as sponsored. Fatmoto, I'm being very, very careful not to mention my dealership brand name and everything. Maybe this is a new marketing strategy. It's terrible. You know where I'm not going to buy another bike? What if they did surveys on RA tech support? It's funny. What? How does this even happen? I mean, what sort of major failure, lack of communication must occur in a company's database to have them publish their customer list as dealers? I am the customer service. That's what I should do. Oh, I should start promising them the moon. If you have any problems, we'll reimburse it and give you a free bike. How about that? As an authorized dealer, I can speak for the company and say that they personally will reimburse you. It goes straight to them. Just let them know that, and your access code is OU812. All right, doesn't find adventures find all right. Might be a crime. It's possible. Call your lawyer. I should probably go on a bike ride just to calm down, right? There's worse things to be listed as a dealer of. I'm floored. I will call the company and talk to them. Now that I have their business hours. Let's see. Went to the boat show, saw a beautiful boat on display. Father-in-law joked that there was no money displayed. Giggled, said you have to talk to a high-pressure dealer for that info. 500. Ooh, man. It probably had like twin or triple or 4 motors on the back. A nice ocean-going vessel. I'm missing out on my commission. The problem is, because they give out my personal cell phone number, which I provided to them to ensure that my package, when it arrived, notifications came to me, so I would be here to receive the package. And now they list it publicly on their website. Because I did that, I don't know who it is. It could be anybody. I think this guy was in Idaho that called me. The funny thing was I told him the whole bit. I told him, look, I'm not a dealer. I never even signed up. Amber says, please check mod chat. My adopted cousin missing. Truck found in Buxton, North Carolina. Dog Zoe also missing. Buxton, is that a recreation area? I'm not familiar with that part of the state. This. Your Hatteras National Seashore. Okay. I'm sorry, Amber. I'm reading the story. If you can maybe put a link to it on Facebook, so that people can see that might be good. What's the buffer? Should have given them the burner phone. Should call the Better Business Bureau. Apparently, but they might get me in trouble, and I might lose my bike dealership. So, I'm not sure. I can't afford to lose my business. Apparently, I've been building up this bike dealership apparently for some time. So the buffer was Amber. Okay. Shared on Facebook already. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate that. We're waiting. This is a tech delay. On the prosecutor's side, if we have to lay the fault where it belongs, the prosecutors had a lot of trouble with tech and had a lot of trouble with admissibility. Am I stuck? No, I'm good. I'm stuck in my bike dealership contract apparently. I'll make a call today and see if I can sell it back to the company. It's easy to have them fix it, honestly. All I have to say is I haven't been paid for any of the calls that came in. There's no mechanism for me to log in and do anything. I'm going to ask them when I get compensated for these phone calls and the advice and the tech support that I'm offering. And if they can't give that to me, I'm going to let them know that I will tell them all the bad things about the bike. Welcome back, Your Honor.
Okay, this one.
And Your Honor, just to clarify, your clerk let me know we could try 170A again.
Okay, that's fine.
We need to hold for about 10 or 12 seconds. Holding for 10 or 12 seconds, just 1 minute. We're hoping that the tech support issues have been solved and that we're now going to be seamless. In the moving forward of evidence. Yeah, I need to start a new show. Obviously, we need to have like weekends be all about. Weekends have to be all about biking and. Lori, I just found out that I became a bike dealer, an e-bike dealer. I did not know I was an e-bike dealer.
All right. Your next question then?
All right, thank you. We're going to try that again, Ms. Telegraph. Your Honor, this is Commonwealth's admitted under seal 170. Ms. Telegraph, this is the picture that you drew on just a moment ago.
I think that's 171, just to let you know for the record. This is
Thank you.
171.
171.
Okay.
15 minutes and they screw
Ms.
up the first thing.
Telegraph, you drew on this photo a moment ago and we marked that as 170A. We're going to try that again with what appears to be hopefully smaller line on your screen. Can you, reminding the jury what we were talking about, the blood flow on Mr. Ryan's neck, can you identify with the marker on your screen where you see blood flow and in what direction?
There are multiple flows, and if I can show, just going across, beginning on the right side, this will show. So there's downward from the chin towards the neck, and then there's from the chin towards the right shoulder. And then there's downward from sort of in front of the right ear down towards the neck.
All right, thank you. And what did the different direction of the flows indicate to you?
That there were different positions while the blood was wet and flowing.
Thank you. Judge, I would offer the marked photo as new Commonwealth's 170A unless it needs to be marked as B.
No, 178 is fine.
Okay.
Is that, any objection to that? 178, it's going to replace the other 170A. Right, 170A, 170A. All right.
Thank you. And if the clerk could print, I'll pass it up. Thank you. All right. If we can drop the screen. And if we can publish Commonwealth's 241 to the witness and counsel. All right, Ms. Telegraph, do you recognize this clip from Body Worn?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I would offer into evidence as Commonwealth's 241 under seal.
Any objection? You approach?
Can we just handle all the objections to all the pictures all at the same time? Because this jury has heard about 3 words of evidence so far. And the last little bit of testimonies, the cuts happened while she was alive, right? There are different cuts at different times. The blood flowed different directions. It is a complete mess. And this is their end. This is the big finish. This is the crescendo.
All right, 241 is an evidence under seal.
All right, so looking at this photo, what did you notice about Mr. Ryan's hand position from this body-worn camera of Officer Beckner, previously admitted as Commonwealth 6?
In the body cam, we see Mr. Ryan laying supine or on his back with both arms, forearms across his chest, the right hand partially overlaying the left hand.
Okay, and are his hands over the location? Well, let me ask you this. Did you have a chance to review the shirt that was provided as physical evidence in this case?
I reviewed the images of the shirt in this case.
And did you, in your review of the images, observe a defect in the shirt?
Yes.
Okay, the circular hole, was it a circular hole from the?
Objection leading.
Sure.
All right, sustained.
What defect did you observe in the shirt?
There was a defect, a somewhat circular hole through the shirt. It could be located based on looking at the shirt and on there's actually an imprint on the shirt of some individuals, and you can locate it relative to those individuals, and other markings on the shirt helped to identify where it was located.
Okay. And did the defect in the shirt line up with any defect in Mr. Ryan's body based on your observation of the photos?
Objection to foundation, Judge.
Overruled. Okay.
Based on comparison of the information from autopsy images at the autopsy and looking at the shirt, the defect in the shirt appeared to be consistent with the location of the defect or the gunshot wound to the chest.
All right. And in this photograph that we have here, this still image from the body-worn camera, Commonwealth's 241, are Mr. Ryan's hands over the defect in the shirt made by the bullet that struck him in the chest?
Well, looking at the image, you can't see any of those figures that I just described as being part of the imprint on the shirt, that the left hand is overlaying that, and therefore it would be overlaying the defect.
Thank you. All right. Judge, if we can remove the image. Ms. Dallygraph, I'm going to ask if the court could please display to the witness and to counsel Commonwealth's 172. All right, Ms. Dallygraph, do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
All right, and if I can show the witness Commonwealth's 173. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
And going back to 172, Judge, the Commonwealth would offer this into evidence under seal.
Any objection to 172? 172 under seal.
And I would ask that be published to the jury. And we're going to toggle back and forth if we can. I'd offer at this time, Judge, Commonwealth's 173. It need not be sealed.
All right, 173, any objection? All right, 173 in evidence.
And I'd ask that be published to the jury.
And us, please. Can we see one?
All right, so resting on this photo, what observations did you make of Joseph Ryan's right hand?
That there's transfer blood stain on his right hand.
Okay. Did you notice anything on his arm?
There's also some transfer on his arm just below the wrist.
And if I can ask you about the palm, what about this contact transfer blood stain pattern on the right palm did you observe?
The transfer is across the inside of the palm, which would be consistent with the palm being exposed at the time or the hand being open.
Okay. And if I can toggle back to 172, removed from the gallery view.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You didn't say
Tell me what you
terminate.
noticed about the transfer pattern on the outside of the right hand. And I'm sorry, this is the left hand. Nope, this is the right hand. What did you notice about the transfer pattern on the outside of the right hand?
Okay, if I understand, you're talking about the pinky side of the right hand, that there's transfer, it appears to go around the hand across the back and around that side of the hand.
The pinky side?
Okay.
And it's also on the fingers, and the pinky, the small finger, is basically covered.
Okay. What did you notice about the spaces in between the fingers?
That if we look at the first and second fingers, the index finger and the middle finger, you can see a line of demarcation. That is, there's a line that you can see that there's blood on one side and not blood on the other side.
And what does that mean?
That something shielded the blood so that it didn't go on that unstained side, such as if the fingers are simply held together at the time that the blood is deposited, then the blood would not get between the fingers.
Okay, so you're holding your hand up for the jury with your fingers closed together, is that correct?
Yes, with the fingers fairly tight, fairly close together, side by side. So that would obstruct blood from going between the fingers. So if blood is coming across, then it'll be on the back of the fingers. But where that skin is in contact would leave this line of demarcation, the place that blood was blocked from going.
Okay, thank you. And again, back to 173, when looking at the palm, do you see those same lines of demarcation? It's helpful to zoom in.
The same lines of demarcation are not visible in this photograph.
All right, and how did you describe the blood transfer to this part of the hand?
It's a transfer, something wet with blood.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Or what's your objection?
I don't think that she's previously described it, and may we approach?
Yes.
We've had all the objections today. Defense is firing on all cylinders when it comes to objections, and this witness has a halting delivery style, halting testimony style, which is hard to follow. It pauses at points when you don't want to pause, right? You want to build up and get a sentence and an idea and formulate the whole answer. Her terminology is the pinky side of the hand. We know what she's talking about, but there's probably a technical term that could probably be used that would give us the appearance, at least, that she's a professional regarding what she's talking about that we're not hearing. I do want to hear how much she gets paid per hour, and if we get any closer, we're going to be eating the mic. Find it very clear, like her. All right. Posterior, interior. Digitus minimus manus. There you go, Greeners. I should stick to my bike dealership. Is that what you're saying, Zimmy? Pinky side is the lateral aspect of the hand. There you go. That's something. That's a term we could expect to hear in court. Do you think the jury will pay more attention because of all the objections on the defense side? Like they sense it's more important? I don't know. I'm getting the vibe that the prosecutor is struggling to, I mean, maybe she woke up late. I don't know. It just seems like this morning is not going well for her. She seems rushed in her evidence. She wasn't prepared with things that she wants to prepare. The things she does have, she has the numbers off on. Things are not admitted because of objections, which arguably you could say you should have anticipated. It's been a little rough. Don't know whose parents. Those were most likely a victim for sure. Super T, 54 days. That is awesome. Congratulations. I missed the I missed the milestone. Let me go back and see if I can find it. Let's see. Beach Life Salt Air says, bring on the snow. Member 31 months. OG. I am Super T on the jury. 21 months. Also an OG and 54 days. Congratulations. Southern CJB member for 3 months. 3-month newbie. Happy court day, y'all. I love the y'all in there. Southern CJB. Just Stephanie W. gifted 5 memberships. Kelly H. says, also known as Kelly Hicks, I use them synonymously. LOL. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the OT, Recovery Addict. Glad to be back on our regular schedule. Yarn and Knots member for 12 months. You hit the year mark. Got a new color courthouse. Good morning. Finally made it a year. Love my new courthouse. And Julianne 1278 member for 18 months. Hi. How are you doing, Julianne? Welcome. It's good to have you here. All right. Now, let's see if this sidebar can end and we can work our way through this evidence. I want to hear what she has to say. I want to hear the evidence that whose blood was splattered where and how it was cast off. I think we know that both these murders happened in the bedroom, right? P. Will, for real, back from Cavalcante days, that was a while ago. That was like at least 2 ago. Judge Penny dismisses everybody. Sophia Starlin, member for 18 months. Case has
Okay, so Ms.
Boom.
Dallygraph, I think we were talking about the contact transfer onto the palm of the hand.
Yes.
Just to reset us, can you describe how that stain was created on the hand?
Some surface wet with blood was in contact with the hand, so that blood transferred from the wet, bloody surface to the hand.
All right, thank you. And Judge, if we can remove the display. And Judge, if you would, supposing the next objection, I would ask this photo be shared with counsel and with the witness. Do you recognize this photograph?
I do.
She's now
Okay.
anticipating the
And
objection.
did you make markings on this photograph to highlight the areas that you just explained to the jury?
I did.
So Judge, rather than having her draw again on the photograph, I would offer this photo as Commonwealth's 174.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, I do have an objection to the markings.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
All right, then we'll go back to Commonwealth's 172.
172.
If you could, mark on your screen where you observe the voids on Mr. Ryan's fingers.
Okay. The lines of demarcation and the portion that's not bloodstained would be where there was a blockage between the fingers.
All right, Judge, I would offer this marked photo into evidence as 174A.
Under seal.
Yes, please.
Any objection?
No objection to that,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
under seal, 174A.
And Judge, if we can take that down. Commonwealth's 173. Previously admitted, if we can have that published. Ms. Dallygraph, on this photograph, can you indicate where you see transfer of bloodstain on the arm?
On the
wrist?
On the right arm.
Objection leading.
In the area inside the green marks.
And Judge, I would offer the marked photo as Commonwealth's 174B.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
174B.
And that does not need to be under seal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if we can take that down. And Judge, I'd ask that Commonwealth's 175 be shared with the witness and with counsel. Ma'am, do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
All right, and is this Joe Ryan's left hand?
Yes.
Okay, what observations did you make of the blood stains on his left hand?
That he has primarily transfer across the back of his left hand with some volume so that there's associated flow.
All right. Did you make note of a line of demarcation?
Yes.
Okay, and where is that?
Do you wish to offer this in evidence?
I'm sorry, yes, Your Honor, I apologize. I'd offer in evidence, Commonwealth's 175.
Any objection to 175?
No objection.
All right, 175 in evidence.
All right, and if that can be published.
All right.
All right, so you know what, before you mark, let's talk about the rest of the hand so we can see it clearly. What other observations did you make of the blood stains on Mr. Ryan's left hand?
Well, there's also transfer on his left thumb and sort of laterally, just below the left wrist. And also note that there's some volume to include what appears to be blood clots on the transfer.
Okay, and can you now mark on Commonwealth's 175 the line of demarcation and the transfer that you just mentioned?
Transfer across the left back of the left hand from the green line towards the fingers would be areas of transfer. Flow towards from that area towards the wrist. Then another transfer just below the left wrist. Transfer on the left thumb. Another small transfer on the outside of the left thumb.
Okay. Were you, in your review of the photographs in this case, able to determine if anything lined up with the void on Mr. Ryan's hand?
Objection.
Judge, I'm going to object. I think that just the question itself goes to what we've talked about.
I'll sustain the objection.
That's fine.
Next question.
So tell us, much as you did with the right hand, how did this blood come to be on Mr. Ryan's left hand?
Some object wet with blood was in contact with the back of his left hand.
All right, thank you.
He stood up, but we couldn't hear
Also
anything.
looking at this photo, did you make any note of the blood stains on or around Mr. Ryan's jeans?
Yes.
What did you note?
That there are, excuse me, some contact stains or transfer stains on the jeans in various locations.
All right. Can you identify where you noticed those blood stains on the jeans?
There's a transfer on the left front of the jeans. There's a transfer on the inside of the jeans waistband at the buttonhole.
Thank you. Did you review the certificates of laboratory analysis submitted in this case?
I did.
And whose DNA profile was present in the swabs of the blood from Joe Ryan's hands?
I believe there was a DNA profile from both Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan.
All right. Judge, at this time, Commonwealth would offer Commonwealth's 175A as the marked item.
All right, any objection?
No objection.
All right, 175A.
This testimony
All right,
is
so
telling us the blood
looking
was
back,
placed there.
And Judge, if we can drop video.
By transferring from somewhere else where the blood existed onto his hand. I'm not sure if that will get the jury where they need to be.
Did you have the opportunity to fully review Officer Beckner's body-worn camera?
I reviewed several body-worn cameras. I don't recall who was wearing which camera. I would have to look that up in the record.
Okay, but if we can go back to Commonwealth 241 and have that published to the witness and counsel and the jury, it was under seal.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the still image that we were referencing before from Officer Beckner's body worn previously as admitted as Commonwealth 6. In your review of the video, did you observe the police officers at the scene to move Mr. Ryan's arms?
I did see that in a body cam video.
Okay. Did you observe those officers to touch Mr. Ryan's arm?
I'm sorry, come on, object.
All right, I'll sustain as to leading.
Leading.
Okay. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
All right, so looking at previously admitted Commonwealth 123. And Judge, this was admitted under seal. If I can have it published to
Yes, ma'am.
the jury, the witness, and Mr. Carroll, and counsel on the left. Drawing your attention to Mr. Ryan's arm. Did you make any observations of the blood patterns on his left forearm?
Yes.
Okay, what did you observe?
I observed what appears to be small blood droplets on his arm in a somewhat linear distribution. Also observed transfer stains on his arm, in particularly 4 transfer stains that are roughly parallel to each other.
All right, so let's talk about them one at a time. Let's talk about the blood drops that you observed. Can you circle or highlight those items on your screen? Sorry about that. Okay. And how are those blood droplets formed?
These would be blood drops falling from somewhere above. Again, blood drops falling or under gravity takes them down, and when they're circular, would mean that the blood is dropping straight down. So if it makes a circular stain, that surface was fairly horizontal at the time that the blood drops were deposited.
Okay. If the blood had been coming at him from an angle, what shape would they have taken?
But if it's coming at an angle, then that sphere in air would translate to an elliptical shape on the surface.
Okay. Judge, I would ask to print and admit this photo as Commonwealth's 170. Well, this, you want to do 123A and?
That's fine, whatever you want to do.
Nope, that's fine, 123A, keeps it clean.
Understanding?
Yes, please.
Any objection?
Okay.
123.
And if we could clear the markings, I can do it if you want, or I don't know if you, okay. All right. You spoke of a transfer pattern on the arm. Where do you see that transfer pattern? All right. Judge, if I can have this marked as Commonwealth 123B
Those
and
four
printed.
vertical lines may be like fingers, like that. If there was a grab to the bloody hand, it may be those 4 lines he's talking about, the 4 parallel
Thank you.
lines. It would be a sign
All
of
right, and then
manipulating
I'm
the
going to
body.
take you to a different angle. If I can remove the display, please. If we can share Commonwealth's previously admitted 101 with the witness, the jury, and I do not believe this was under seal, Judge, but I'll defer to the court.
101 is under seal.
Okay, then this remains under seal. Ms. Telegraph, if I zoom in a little bit, we've got another angle here. Can you again highlight the transfer pattern that you observed? Okay, thank you. And I would offer that marked photo as Commonwealth's 101A under seal.
Any objection?
I guess, Judge, the markings are actually covering up what she's testified to as transfer.
Ouch.
But you got the other picture as well, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure there's no other connotation given to the way that was drawn. In having a circle would probably be a.
I understand that's what she did.
Okay.
I think we were talking to her cross-examination about it. You have the original picture, look at what she marks.
Okay, thank you.
So no objection?
No objection.
That was painful.
Are you able to tell us whether or not the transfer pattern was made at the same time as the drip marks?
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation.
Based on your training and experience, are you able to discern anything about the markings in this photograph that would enable you to gauge whether or not they occurred at the same time?
To determine sequencing, you need to look very closely at individual photographs of this area, multiple photographs of this area, looking to see if we can see actual one stain on top of the other. If we can make that determination, then you know that the one that's on the bottom has to happen before the one on the top. So in this case, I don't think that I was able to actually pinpoint where one was on top of the other. They happen at different times. They're different mechanisms. Nothing here indicates that they were simultaneous. They may have been very close together in time. I don't know. But if you don't have those specific characteristics to point to, then you don't determine sequencing.
All right, thank you. If we can pull this photo down. Judge, I'd like to have 181 displayed to the witness and counsel. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
Judge, I would offer 181 under seal.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 181 under seal.
And I apologize, we're bouncing all around in the numbers. All right. Ms. Daligraph, I've zoomed in, and I'd like to have this published now to the jury. This is another view of those same transfer stains, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What can you tell me about what is happening on the interior of the arm at the base of those stains?
There is a flow pattern on the interior of the arm. It extends from the transfer pattern, what would be up the arm, that is towards the elbow, and then terminates in one stain.
All right. Can you tell me about how the blood moved down the arm to create that stain?
It appears that excess volume of blood was in the transfer.
Excuse me, hold on.
I'd object. I think that's exceeding the scope of what blood spatter analysis that we discussed.
You want to, okay.
How in the world can the state not have anticipated this? They are so flustered by these objections. They're basically tentatively or timidly asking a question and looking over at defense and being like, yep, that was bad too. Let's try this. It's painful. It's slow. You got to give it to the defense attorney. He is putting in work today. This evidence, this is scientific evidence, physical evidence that would indicate that that scene was tampered with, that bodies were moved. Knowing what we know, with the defendant basically admitting that he has, he made the call, that he made that shot. He's told the police that this is what's happened. We know he was there. If the bodies are tampered with, it looks bad for him. And the state's struggling to get that information across, although I think they've done enough here. We'll see how much more scientific or scientific-ish. It's in the realm of scientificness. Let's see.
Okay, let's try again. The blood that you see from the transfer, how does that come to be or to connect to the blood that we see on the interior of the forearm?
That excess volume in the transfer was flowing what would have been downward at the time in sort of toward the inner aspect of the forearm. And when a liquid drop meets a liquid drop, they merge, and then they all flow together. And this only goes a short distance, so you can see where it terminates on the inside of the arm.
What would have limited its distance?
Well, a limited volume for one. It's probably no more than just a really small volume from each of those transfers, just enough that it's fluid enough to flow, and as they merge together, then continue together in one flow. The blood loses energy, partly because it's leaving volume behind. There may have been more resistance on the surface at this point. The change in position, that it flows here and now you change position, so it stops because it's no longer downward.
All right, and that takes me to my next question. Tell me what you would be able to say about the position of the arm when the blood was flowing based on gravity.
Well, flow again is always in the direction of gravity or downward, so that means that the forearm was in some raised position so that downward would be towards the elbow instead of towards the wrist.
Thank you. Is it possible that that flow led to the transfer?
Objection, Your Honor. It's leading.
Overruled. I'll allow that question.
She's going to say no.
Well, flow doesn't become transfer. If it's flow, it's going to keep going in the direction of gravity until it loses volume or something causes it to stop. It doesn't separate. That is, blood has cohesive properties, has surface tension that holds the fluid together, which is partly why, that's part of the reason why blood in flight is a sphere. It's pulling together. So you would need something to break those forces to cause part of the flow to go one direction and part another direction. And there's nothing here that would do that. That's not what flows do on their own. They just go with gravity. And you see that if you have a flow going one direction and you turn that surface, the flow doesn't separate into separate flows. The whole thing, one flow can make a corner, but that corner would be an indication that the thing was oriented so that what was down is now a different direction.
Thank you. Judge, if we can take down picture.
Yes, ma'am.
If I can have you take a look at Commonwealth's previously admitted 100, which was admitted under seal. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time I would have it published to the jury.
It is. It is.
Thank you. All right. What observations did you make in conjunction with your reading of Commonwealth's admitted 151, the lab from DLI, about Mr. Ryan's pants and any blood stains observed there?
My recollection of the analysis was that both profiles, DNA profiles from Christine Banfield and DNA profiles from Joseph Ryan, were found in stains on the jeans.
All right. Let's talk about them one by one. Specifically, did you examine the area in the photo of the button and the zipper?
There was a sampling from that area that I read the DNA analysis report for that sample.
Okay. And that sample of blood, were you able to determine if it was a flow, spatter, or transfer?
The stains on the area of the button and the buttonhole were contact stains or transfers.
All right.
Nurse for God, thank you for
Looking
the 5
at,
gifted memberships.
If I may advance to Commonwealth's previously admitted 101.
You hit Reverend Beasy. How are you doing? Thanks for your support.
Slightly better angle. Did you make observations of other bloodstain patterns now on the leg of the jeans?
Yes.
All right. Tell me about your observations on his right leg pant. Right pant leg.
Well, there are several bloodstain patterns or blood stains on the right leg. In particular, there's a stain pattern of somewhat parallel transfers that are finger-like in shape.
And can you mark on 101 where you've made that observation, or which transfers you're referencing? Okay. And in your review of what was previously admitted as Commonwealth's 168, the certificate of laboratory analysis from Bodie, was there a mixture of DNA found in that blood?
My recollection is that this is another area where both profiles were found in the stain that was sampled in this area.
And you say both profiles of?
The profile from Christine Banfield and the DNA profile from Joseph Ryan.
Okay. And again, could these stains be cast off or spatter?
No.
Could they be falling blood?
No.
I'm going to move on to...
Did you want that in evidence?
Yes, please. If we could have that printed, and I would offer it as Commonwealth's 101A.
I already have 101A. Do you want?
101B.
101B under seal. No objection. Okay. 101B under seal.
All right. If we can take that down. And if I can have Commonwealth's 222 shared with the witness and with counsel. All right, do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
And did you examine Mr. Ryan's, this photo of Mr. Ryan's hip?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I would offer the item into evidence. It's Commonwealth's 222.
All right. Any objection? All right, 222 in evidence, not under seal, correct?
Not under seal.
Okay, 222.
We get to possibly see one here.
All right, so this angle is a little tricky, but tell me what you observed about the blood stains on Mr. Ryan's hip.
There are multiple circular and elliptical stains, most of them fairly small, that are on the front and the side of the left hip.
All right, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit more. This larger stain that is now in the middle of the photo for
you can see the drip and the splash on that.
Tell me what you observe about that stain.
This is a larger stain. It appears to have some satellites, that is secondary blood drops. So when wet blood hits the surface, it can form droplets out of that volume, and it's called satellites, secondary stains. And they appear to be possibly a little flow associated with it, and that flow, as you're looking at it, would be from front to back.
All right, so again, using gravity as our rule, what position was the body in when that stain struck the hip?
I would object based on this photo.
Sorry.
I would object to scientific foundation in order to even, that we have some sort of scientific foundation before.
Foundation is your objection?
Yes.
All right, so if you want to lay a foundation.
Sure. To your knowledge, how does gravity work?
Gravity is a magnetic pull towards the center of the earth, and it causes things to, under the force of gravity, to move toward the center of the earth or downward.
Okay. And the blood that we see in this picture, in what direction did it flow?
The small flows that appear to emanate from the larger are front to back in reference to the body, and here going towards the floor.
All right. And so in what position would the body have been relative to the earth when the blood struck the body and flowed?
That his left hip was exposed when the wet blood contacted the skin and flowed towards the back or towards the floor.
Thank Thank you.
I missed that. Did she say it
Let's
was
zoom back
magnetic
out
pole?
just a little bit. Looking at these droplets of blood, what can you tell me about that pattern?
There are small circular to elliptical stains which indicate blood was in flight when the blood made contact with this part of his skin.
Magnets.
All right,
that's how the earth works. Magnets. Oh my goodness. Maybe defense will stand up.
So let's move on then to what was previously admitted as Commonwealth's 133. All right, if I can have that displayed to the witness and counsel.
It's already admitted.
And it's admitted, so to the jury as well, please.
In the gallery, thank you.
Thank you, and the gallery. All right, Ms. Dallygraph, tell me about the blood stains that we observe on Mr. Banfield's jeans, previously admitted Commonwealth's 133.
If we're looking at generally the area of the knees, that there are multiple contact stains.
All right, were you able to determine whether or not those contact stains, strike that, let me rephrase. Did you have the opportunity to watch, as you've said before, the body-worn camera, specifically any portion where first responders are in the room?
Yes.
Okay, and did you observe Mr. Banfield's position on that body-worn camera when first responders entered the room?
When first officers entered the bedroom, yes.
Okay. Was his position consistent with the transfer patterns that you see on the knees of the jeans?
In the...
You're not objecting to that. There has to be some indication of there has to be more in order to be able to arrive at the conclusion that she's asking for, not just looking at the body cam.
You want to approach for a second?
For those of you who are counting steps, we just hit our 10,000 for the day, going back and forth to the judge's sidebar. It's been that type of morning. I guess over the weekend, defense woke up and the state just kicked back and took it easy. I hope defense goes back and revisits the whole magnetism causes gravity issue that this expert testified to. But maybe they missed it like I did. I was too caught up laughing at the fact that the state's like, all right, how does gravity work? We'll start basic with Newton. Man. We're cringing because gravity and magnets have different forces that have different behaviors. Yes, the Earth has both, but they're very different. If gravity and magnets were the same, your compass would point towards the ground all the time.
All right, so at the knees, we have transfer stains, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Zooming in, tell me about these stains on the left of our screen that appear different.
Yes, there's linear distributions of circular and elliptical stains. This would be on the jeans above the knee, going up to pretty much the top of the jeans.
Okay, and again, remind us how elliptical stains come to be.
Elliptical stains occur when the sphere of blood traveling through the air comes in contact with the surface at an angle so that the circular shape of the sphere translates into an elliptical shape on the surface.
Thank you. Judge, if we can take this down.
All right.
And move to Commonwealth's 135. If I can have this published, this is Commonwealth's previously admitted 135.
All right.
Is this a close-up on those stains?
This is a close-up of some of those stains.
Some, that's fair.
She got a little close up to the microphone
Alright.
recently. She's now very loud.
And if I can have the court's indulgence, pull this down for just 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
If I can show you, Commonwealth's previously admitted 186 and have that published.
I don't have a 186 in evidence.
All right, Commonwealth would offer 186 into evidence.
Any objection to 186?
No, you're.
All right, 186 in evidence.
All right, so here we have the same genes in a manner that Detective Leach photographed them to allow us to see the blood more closely. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if you can describe your opinion or share with us your opinion about the blood spatter that we see on the left.
There are linear distributions of small circumelliptical stains. They're actually from about the knee to the crotch, and just bracketed to show that general area.
All right. And are those stains cast off?
These stains could be cast off. They're consistent with cast off. We see some progressive change in shape looking across some of the lines. So cast off cannot be excluded as a mechanism to produce these stains.
Thank you. And were you able to review the certificate of laboratory analysis that was admitted in this case, identifying the DNA contribution to those stains?
Yes.
And do you recall whose DNA was found to be in those stains?
The DNA profile of Christine Banfield was found in this area.
Thank you.
So that's Christine's blood that was cast off onto
All right,
his
Judge, if we can
pants.
pull that down.
It does seem a little strange because it continues down below the knee. He would have to have been standing, and it would have been cast off at him. It's a
Judge,
strange
at this time I would offer into evidence is
location.
almost 187.
Any objection to 187?
No objection.
All right, 187 in evidence.
All right. Ms. Dallygraph, from 187, were you able to make any observations about Mr. Banfield's shoes?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask counsel to take a look if we can pull this down. We can display Commonwealth's 188 to counsel and the witness. Is this a photograph that you pulled from Commonwealth's 187 to highlight the blood stains that you analyzed?
Yes, this actually shows parts of two different photographs, but I took out the background to focus on just the shoes and the stains on the shoes.
All right, Judge, at this time, the Commonwealth would offer as Commonwealth's 188.
Any
this
objection?
Photograph,
No objection.
188 in evidence.
and we'd ask that it be published to
That's
the
fine.
jury in the gallery. All right, tell me about the staining that you observed on Mr. Banfield's shoes.
Well, on the right shoe, where you see the one closest is the right shoe, and then the one where you're looking down at the toe area of the right shoe, there are circular stains, particularly up close to where the shoelace loops You can see a circular stain moving out into the toe, a circular stain. On the side of the right shoe, there's a larger stain that can't be determined. It could be just a contact with something wet with blood, or it could be merging where if it's blood falling there on the side, then as it traveled in the fabric actually made one larger stain. So the mechanism cannot be determined. The left shoe appears to be a transfer from some area of wet blood.
Is the blood stain or the blood stains on the right shoe, is that consistent with transfer, or could it be consistent with transfer?
Well, there are in particular two that are very circular. So when I do the analysis, I look at all of the pictures, all of the images in context to see if I could identify if this is transfer, then there should be a circular area somewhere of that approximate size and shape to see if I can exclude transfer, because this does appear to be a somewhat absorbent surface. I didn't find anything, so it appears more that falling blood, because falling blood will make a circular stain.
She couldn't find another round circle spot
Thank
of
you.
blood in the crime scene? Is that what I just heard?
And did you make any observations from your review of the body-worn camera of Mr. Banfield's hands following the entry of law enforcement into the room?
Yes.
What did you notice about his hands?
Both hands were blood covered.
All right. I can show you what has been previously admitted as Commonwealth's 112 and 113. We'll start with 112. All right. So, in your review of the bloodstains found on the carpet, did you make any observations regarding these stains found between the bed and the basket?
Yes.
Okay, and what were your observations?
Well, there are multiple blood stains between the bed and the basket. Some of those appear to be saturation, where a lot of blood absorbed into the surface. Some appear to be simply transfer. There's something that was very wet with blood is in contact with the surface. Others are much smaller stains. They appear to be circular to elliptical in shape.
Okay, so let's start with this photo if we can. I know there's a whole lot more, but let's take it little bit by little bit. Identifying this stain here at the bottom of the photo, irregular in shape, what type of stain is that?
It appears to be both transfer and saturation.
Okay. Were you able to identify anything that might have matched with the shape and pattern of that stain to have created the transfer?
I could not determine what transferred that particular pattern.
Okay, were there any objects that you observed in any of the photos nearby that were also saturated with blood?
Yes.
Okay, what did you observe?
Well, in particular, there was bedding that was over this area when officers first arrived, and some of that had a fairly heavy amount or large areas of saturation within that bedding that was sort of crumpled or on the floor above this area.
Okay, let's turn to look at the dots of blood here closer to the laundry basket. What can you tell us about that staining?
That from this image, there no particular dispersion or irregular dispersion, but there are very small blood stains in the area, especially as you're approaching up to the laundry basket.
Okay, and from your review of the certificates of analysis, was Joseph Ryan's DNA present in that tested area?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're going to just
can
depend
pull
on the
this down for
states
just a moment.
to summarize this well in closing, because I'm not sure if the way it's being presented to the jury is conveying the message that they need to.
I'm going to ask Commonwealth 191 be shared with counsel and the witness. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
Okay. And the yellow circles on the photo, how did they come to be?
I put the circles on the photo.
Okay.
we're
Judge,
gonna
at
get
this
an
time, the
objection.
Commonwealth would offer this into evidence as Commonwealth 191.
I'd object to the markings, Judge.
All right,
There
I'll
it is.
sustain the objection.
Sustained.
All right.
So we're going to go back. We're going to make the new. She should have not
I
marked
can
the
have this
photos.
pulled down, please.
Pre-marked them.
All right, directing your attention then to Commonwealth's previously admitted 113. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
All right, and just for orientation, is this the bed frame that we have on the right of the screen?
Yes, that would be the sideboard of the bed frame.
Okay. Tell me about the large blood stain that we have here. And Judge, I'm sorry if I did not ask that this be published.
It is published.
Okay, thank you. Tell me about that large saturation stain.
Overall, it's an indication of volume of blood that's on the surface, and I certainly would want to look under that area to see how much volume might be there. It also has, especially on the margins, you're looking to the right side, you can see the outlines or the shape that is fairly circular in a linear distribution. Looking at the photograph going from the top down towards the bottom, you see these, there appear to be individual circular stains.
Okay, can you, as best you can, using the screen, identify the linear pattern that you see? Okay, and can you draw perhaps either an arrow toward or a circle around the circular stains that you see? I'm afraid the circle around may end up too large, but
yeah,
let's give it a try.
I'm sorry, the width of the line makes it
I know, thank you.
kind of obliterate the circle underneath.
If only there was a way to make the drawing use a narrower pencil lead.
All right, thank you. And again, what is it that the nature of the circular stains mean to you?
Taken together with the volume, that this appears to be where a volume of blood was projected, blood drops traveling through the air, and some of those droplets fell from that trajectory down to the surface of the, in this case, the carpet. So that creates the linear portion of it in association with the volume that you see immediately to the left of that the same thing is happening there. Droplets falling on top of droplets creates a volume and on an absorbent surface, a saturation. All of that is consistent with what's called a projected pattern, where a volume of blood pushed through the air, then the droplets fall, and they fall on top of each other, creating this larger overall pattern.
Thank you. If we can pull this down, please.
You don't want to print that?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
You have to put it back.
Back up.
If we could print, and I would offer it as 113A.
Okay. I think it's
It moves.
off on the side.
Hold on, I can make it happen.
Now we're going to recreate the evidence.
Okay.
Okay.
And any objection to 113A?
No.
113A in evidence.
All right. Are we good? Okay, just wait.
You're fine.
Okay, thank Thank you. All right. All right, if I can share Commonwealth's previously admitted 111. All right. For location purposes, Commonwealth's 113 was a close-up of which area of the staining that we see here?
It's approximately parallel to the sideboard.
All right, can you make a mark, just perhaps a dot on the screen for that stain?
I'm sorry, the previous pattern is what I just marked.
Oh, thank you. I can't see it on mine. All right, and so looking at the area of blood below that stain, what can you tell me about those markings?
Well, looking on the photograph, looking below the area that I just marked, there's at least 2 areas of concentration that are, as you're looking at the photograph, just below and another just to the left. These are somewhat overlaying. They indicate, there's an indication of volume. These are not, it's not just single falling blood. It's definitely not cast off or impact spatter. It's not flow. It's just areas of concentration and saturation.
And can you perhaps just put a dot in the centers of those 2 concentrated areas? Okay, thank you. So in the perimeter around those concentrated areas, what observations did you make of the staining?
But if I understand, we're talking about going around that general area. Again, there's multiple things that could move some of the blood in that area. Some of it could be transfer. That is something that's very wet with blood, could be on the surface, possibly moved from one place to the other or moving on the surface. I can't really tell. There appears to be multiple things happening. It's just I can't identify just one and only one action in that location.
Okay, well, let me ask this. If you were to draw a perimeter around the outermost edges of the blood staining that we see on the left, would the entirety of the blood contained within that perimeter be saturation?
It's not all saturation. Doesn't appear to be.
What else does it appear to be?
Well, again, some of it could be transfer, like something very bloody, either being moved in different location or moved on the carpet, either one. So it's not an even distribution through that whole area.
Okay. And looking at the blood stain now to the right of the photograph, what can you tell us about that stain?
That there is saturation there. There is some transfer there. There is what might be some spatter up as you're looking at the general area. There's some smaller stains at least up just above and slightly to the right of center of the larger blood stain area in front of that chest of drawers.
Thank you. And Judge, if I can have this printed and offered into evidence as 111A.
Any objection? 111A.
Let me know when I can pull it down.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
They were moved.
All right, Judge, if I can offer, well, if I can ask first that Commonwealth 219 be shared with the witness and with counsel. And Judge, at this time, I would offer Commonwealth 219 into evidence.
Any objection? Yes, so that's the marking, so I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
That would be under seal. Even though it's not admitted.
Judge, at this time, I'd ask Commonwealth 221 be shared with the witness and with counsel.
221.
All right, Ms. Dallygraph, do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
All right. This time, Commonwealth would offer 221 into evidence under seal.
Any objection? All right, 221 in evidence under seal.
All right, Ms. Dallygraph, we've got now another angle of the blood on the carpet that we've talked about. Can you identify for us the droplets that you previously testified to having come from Joe Ryan on the carpet near the laundry basket?
Well, there's an area that on the carpet that has smaller circular and elliptical stains between the bed and the basket.
Thank you. And then did you also observe any blood stains on the wall?
Yes.
All right, and can you circle where those stains were observed to be?
Sorry, the marking covers up.
It's okay, we're gonna zoom in on it in just a moment. Judge, I would offer this as Commonwealth's 221A. I'm sorry, this is 221?
Yes, 221A.
And now 221A with the markings, please.
Any objection? 221A under seal. Okay.
Let me know when I can pull it down, thank you.
Yes, you're fine.
I can ask to share with the witness and with counsel, Commonwealth's previously admitted 118.
118.
And that can be shared with the jury in the gallery as well.
Yes.
Ms. Graff, do you see here now a closer picture of the blood on the wall?
Yes.
All right. Tell me about that blood stain and what observations you made.
Well, the largest blood stain you see is clearly elliptical with some excess flow or a tail, a part of the volume that continued in the direction the blood drop was originally traveling when it impacted the wall. So this droplet was traveling downward and at a slight angle as you're looking at the wall, slightly to your right. There are other stains in the same area that are much smaller, but exhibit very similar characteristics. That they're the leading edge, the place where the blood droplet first met the wall, is rounded, and then you see that round shape transferring into elliptical. And those drops are all going toward the wall and then downward.
And you reviewed the certificate of laboratory analysis for that particular item, swab 39, is that correct?
I did.
All right, and did that contain Joseph Ryan's DNA profile?
Yes.
I really would have to look at the report again. I don't recall.
Okay, that's all right. Did you make any observations regarding the blood spatter that was located on the laundry basket?
I did.
All right. Judge, at this time, I would ask to share Commonwealth's previously admitted 120.
120, okay.
Tell me about the blood stain patterns that you observed on the laundry basket.
Well, there are multiple circular and elliptical stains. Some of those appear to be in a linear distribution, with the caveat that the side of the laundry basket has a lot of openings, so you don't have the full pattern there, but some of them do appear to be in linear distribution.
And we understand that linear distribution is consistent with what?
Well, you get linear distributions in projected stains, in cast-off stains, in impact spatter. All of those would have some linear components to them.
Thank you. And were those stains swabbed and tested as item 41 to your knowledge?
Yes, some of these stains were submitted for further analysis.
All right, and was Christine Banfield's DNA present in some of those stains to your knowledge?
Some of them had Christine Banfield's DNA profile.
Okay, thank you. All right, Judge, if we can pull this down. Judge, at this time, I would offer into evidence Commonwealth's 196.
Any objection to 196? Is that a no? No. Okay, no objection. 196 in evidence, then thank you.
Judge, I'd ask that be published. All right, Ms. Dallygraf, do you recognize this picture of Mr. Ryan's backpack?
This is an examination picture of the backpack that was under or partially under Mr. Ryan's left leg.
All right, so this is after it has been opened and spread out, is that correct?
Yes, this will be an examination where everything has been removed, photographed separately, and now looking at just the backpack alone.
Okay, so start us off with the thing that seems to confuse almost everyone. The circle that we see in the middle of the backpack, is that something you drew?
No.
Okay, to your knowledge, is that stitching on the backpack?
I can't tell from this photograph. I'd have to see a close-up. Oh, yes, I can see the stitches.
Okay, there we go. All right, so tell me about the blood stains that you observed on this object.
Multiple circular and elliptical stains.
All right, and what pattern of travel are those stains consistent with?
They all have, they're elongated.
Well, some of them have some satellite or the continuation from the leading edge outward, which would indicate downward relative to looking at the photograph. Others are pretty indistinct. You can't really determine from some of them what they were, but all of this is relative to this surface.
All right, Judge, if we can pull this down. All right, and Judge, if I can share what was previously admitted as Commonwealth's 124.
124 under seal.
So, Ms. Dallygraf, did you examine this photo relative to the one that we just shared and admitted into evidence as Commonwealth's 196?
Yes.
All right, so tell me what observations you made of the staining on the backpack as it appears in this picture relative to 196.
Well, I look at it in the context of the scene, how it was originally photographed before it was moved by officers in the scene, and to identify the patterns or the shapes of the stains that we could see in the examination photograph compared to what is visible here. to see if we can see the entire pattern or the portion of the pattern, to determine if the blood is deposited while it's in the orientation, location, everything that we see in this image, just by comparing those stains during examination quality and the in-scene context.
Okay, and what did your examination reveal regarding the location of these stains and the location of the items in the bag?
Well, one of the largest of the stains that we saw in the previous photograph, you can see a portion of it going into a fold as you're looking down at the lining as it was laying there when they first photographed it in place.
Okay, and is that consistent with the location of the objects in the bag as we see them photographed here?
I'm not sure I understand the question. We're talking about just the lining?
Yes.
Well, it appears that at least part of that lining is not exposed when we look at the overall shape of that. So we
Judge, I'm
see only
sorry.
part of that
I'm
shape
going to
here.
object to that question that we approach.
I'll sustain the objection. Just ask the next question.
Okay.
She says, no more approaching, I'll just sustain.
Is the location of the items as we see them photographed here consistent with the stains that are beneath them?
Objection, Judge.
Sustain the objection.
Okay. Was there staining on the items as they are photographed here that created a pattern with the staining on the lining of the bag as evidenced in 196?
Judge, I'd object. I don't know. Well, actually, I'll see if she can answer.
I'll overrule the objection.
There are some small stains on some of the items. However, what I'm looking for is to see, can I see the entire pattern that was on the lining with these objects in place? If all of that staining happened with these objects in place, then we should see those
Judge, I think
stains.
I would object. I think we're going to.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Okay. Based on your review of the certificates of analysis, was Mr. Ryan's DNA observed in the stains to the liner of the backpack?
My recollection is those were the DNA profile of Joseph Ryan.
In your review of the body-worn camera, were you able to make any observations regarding the placement of the Glock 19M, Mr. Banfield's service weapon, at the time of the officer's first entry into the primary bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And where was the Glock Model 19M?
On the, I believe that'd be the southeast corner of the mattress.
All right, and did you make any observations of the blood pattern in the area of the weapon?
On the weapon itself, on the pistol, there was what appeared to be contact all along that entire side of the gun.
When you say that side of the gun, which side of the gun?
The side that was up as it's laying on the mattress.
So the gun was dropped or set on its side in a pool of blood.
Okay. In your expert opinion, based on the location of the blood on Mr. Ryan's hand, the location of the blood on his pants, the location of the blood stains on his hip, and your review of all of the evidence in this case, including the autopsy reports, Are you able to opine as to whether or not Joseph Ryan was in the position where he was found when police arrived, when those bloodstains were transferred?
Objection, Your Honor. I think this goes
Approach.
To a reasonable degree of professional certainty. This is the important part. This is the ending. In your opinion, did the blood get on him when he was in that position? If she says yes, okay, yes, he was in that position when the blood got on him. Hang on, I'm having some issues with.
I do not have any further questions. Thank you so much. I appreciate your patience.
All right, cross-examination.
Get it.
Judge, would it be appropriate to go now, or?
Well, how long
we
is your?
didn't have a break for the.
How long is your cross-examination?
I anticipated probably being at least as much, if not
Okay,
more.
all right. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our lunch break now. So we'll come back then at 1:45 to give you an hour, okay? So again, do not discuss the case and don't do any outside research, okay? We'll see you at 1:45.
Wow. It seems like we just got here when our first sidebar started. We've had sidebar after sidebar, objection after objection. Defense was successful in not really letting the prosecution get up to speed, get running with this witness. Mournful look from the defendant. They caused tons of delay,
Again,
tons
ma'am,
of
since you're
interruptions.
still having testimony, please do not discuss your testimony with anybody to include the prosecutors, okay? All right, thank you. See you at 1:45.
All rise.
Judge bails and says, I'm out of here. I think the state expected this witness testimony to go much faster than it has, and much smoother and much clearer. They've missed key points. They've missed some questions that they thought they were going to get in, and they didn't. They've misjudged evidence, thinking that that's something they could present to the jury, and they couldn't. Everything this witness did to prepare, as far as exhibits, has not been brought in. She basically took screenshots from the evidence and marked them up ahead of time. All of those were objected to. Every single one of them was not allowed in. They had to redo that. That just slowed things down, didn't stop it from coming in. It just slowed it down, made them recreate it on the stand live, and then it was admitted and printed, and just a delay. But the delay and that the constant interruption, I think, made this almost unbearable, even for the jury to listen to. That there was just no continuity through it. That it was so halting throughout the entire thing. I think the jury's just glad that it stopped right now. I'd be like, please get on to something else. It's terrible. There was no flow, right, Greeners? There was no flow, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, I didn't get anything from that. Here's what I'll tell you, what we got. Lots of blood. Yes, Wager, you're absolutely correct. There was lots of blood everywhere. Blood was found on Joe's body in various, and it's proven, you can prove that it got there various different ways. Some was cast off, some was like dripped nearly straight down on his pants. And some, by straight down, I mean if he was lying on his back and his legs were extended, in like a regular resting position, blood would be dripped vertically down on his pants that way. And some was contact, that something that was bloody came in contact with his clothing. He also has signs of on him that there are 4 linear or parallel type lines, like bloody fingers that touched parts of his body. We didn't see all these pictures because they're quite graphic, but it would be indication that the scene changed from when his body came to rest when he died, and the police showed up. It just doesn't add up. The math is not mathing. Can someone remind me if he gets up for 2 counts of murder or just for his wife's 2 counts? He's up for both. All right, we're going to go to lunch. We deserve a lunch. The last 2 days we've been working, we did not get one, so I'm taking one today. I think the jury's going to convict him. I'm a little early calling this, but I think they're going to convict him. So, let's see. Added my trial image to the X. To the murder phone. Well, I'll take a look at that over lunch. All right. Where are we at? We're going to lunch. Let me make a portal. This is day 4 of this trial. Seems like day 16 after this morning, but... What time did the judge say we're going to be back? Did anyone listen to that? How long do we get a lunch break? It's 12:50 right now. Are we coming back at 2? 1:45? We'll be back at 1:45. Okay, that means we're going to have to be back a little bit earlier than that. I have a typo in my playlist. I say it's Ohio versus Brandon Banfield. It's not. Okay. All right, we're going to be back at 1:30 then. Maybe let's do 1:40. Give you all enough time to get some food and relax and get some stuff done. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe to go live again at 1:40-ish. And when we do go live, Greeners will have won the internet, because that's what he does. Let's see. Yep, he won. Sorry, I'm trying rapidly to get this done before the song's over. All right, be good to each other, you guys. Have a great lunch. Portal is now in place, and we'll see you guys after lunch. Hopefully it gets a little more exciting after this one. We'll see you guys.